Namaste everybody. So today we're going to be talking about why you cannot save a narcissist. If you love this content, please don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification bell. This way, every time I upload a new video, you dear one will be the first to know. And don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button. When you do, you let YouTube know that you find this information valuable and that other people might find value in it too. Many of us on the road to recovery have found ourselves in difficult, toxic relationships. And many of us have discovered that we have some issues that make us more of a target to someone who has high narcissistic traits. We are people perhaps who have discovered that childhood trauma, that feeling abandoned, feeling unworthy, feeling unsure of ourselves, and struggling with a true sense of identity has made us a target for a predator-type personality. And those of us here, and many of you who follow my work, are people who are recovering from codependency. You are people who are highly intelligent, successful people, however, struggle inside toxic relationships. And you may have gone your entire relationship thinking that it was you, that you just didn't understand this person, or you were just too sensitive, or you just didn't say what you needed to say efficiently enough to make the person that you love understand you. You were living with someone who used crazy-making communication, somebody who loved you intermittently, somebody who praised you one day and then a few days later was devaluing you. This is crazy making because it makes you feel like you are going crazy. It makes you doubt reality, especially when the person that you're dealing with is hell-bent on telling you that the way they treat you is your fault. So there is literally zero accountability for how this person shows up in life. So narcissists are generally people who are empathy impaired. They do not feel what other people feel. They do not understand how you feel. They might cognitively understand that they should feel what you feel. They might know that your dog was hit by a car and that sucks and that must be painful. So they might be able to act like they have empathy for you and go through the emotions, but they do not have the capacity that a healthier person does to feel what you feel. And this makes it difficult to be in a relationship with someone when you are feeling what they feel and you care about what they feel, and you're dealing with someone who really doesn't care what you feel or can't feel what you feel. And when you add this and couple this with a sense of grandiosity, someone who is very grandiose and believes that they are better than you, that you owe them, someone who treats themselves and looks at others like they're less than, someone who walks around planet Earth with a sense of entitlement, somebody who treats waiters and waitresses and people who clean up hotel rooms and people who can really do nothing for them, can't advance their life any particular way, poorly. And those are telltale signs of someone who is narcissistic. And when you're loving this person and you're dealing with this person day to day, it can be exhausting, it can be frustrating, and it can be confusing because this person also thinks that they're always right. And when you complain, you are then told that you're a negative person. Narcissists can't handle the truth. When you tell a narcissist that you're upset because they lied to you, a narcissist can't integrate that truth. The fact that you're calling them a liar can't integrate that truth. And what they will do is they will deny, deny, deny. They're not lying. You heard wrong. You're making things up. You're lying, and you're the narcissist, which causes you to doubt your reality. And then you have someone who will love bomb you when it's convenient. They will hoover you back in when you've had enough. And so it is a topsy-turvy relationship. It's never consistent. It is up one day and it is down the next day, and you end up feeling like you are a puppet on a string inside this relationship dynamic. You can't save a narcissist because a narcissist lacks self-awareness. Healthy people want to change. Healthy people want to evolve. Healthy people are willing to look at themselves and say, yes, I did that, and I know I hurt you, and I'm sorry, and I regret it, and I want to do everything that I can to not do that thing again. If you are in a relationship with someone who maybe doesn't show you as much affection as you like, you're able to compromise that. Perhaps your needs are a little bit different, but at least if you're dealing with a healthy partner, he is able to hear you or she is able to hear you. When we're dealing with people who are narcissistic, they cannot integrate the truth. They cannot accept responsibility. And if you can't integrate the truth, then you can't be healed of narcissism. If you can't accept the truth of codependency, you can't heal from codependency. If you can't accept that you have a problem, then you can't heal. And so people who, if you will, remain below the veil of consciousness, people who live in the basement of the mind, which is the subconscious mind, people who live there and have no desire to live above the veil of consciousness are not people that you can help. The danger in trying to help someone who doesn't want to help themselves is that you're going to be put in a situation where you have to make a choice. And if you feel like it's your job to heal someone, to fix someone, or to convince someone that they should change or their life could be better, and you're dealing with someone who is highly narcissistic or is a narcissist, then you can get stuck in the basement with them. You can take on the role of fixing them, of caretaking them, and of rescuing them. If you are highly codependent and you have high empathy and you lack a sense of self, you can get stuck in the quagmire of this subconscious reality. And so the narcissist is living a subconscious reality. They cannot integrate the truth. They cannot see themselves. They cannot step into self-awareness, nor do they want to. And by virtue of being a narcissist, they're wearing this false mask. And if you're going to be in a relationship with them, then they expect you to echo what they feel about themselves. The analogy that I use when I coach people is, if you are codependent and you lack an identity, and or your identity is tied to how well people receive you, how well people respond to you, whether or not people need you, if your identity is tied to I need people to need me, then you are a prime target for a narcissist, because that's exactly what a narcissist will exploit in you, your need to be needed. Another thing that a narcissist will exploit is your need to be understood, your fear of being misunderstood. Narcissists know that if they can get you to doubt what they think about you, if you worry what a narcissist thinks about you, they know that they have you on the hook, and that you will do almost anything to convince them that you are a good person. You will do almost anything to make sure that you're not misunderstood, which means what? You end up going into soliloquies about why you should be treated a different way, why you should be seen a different way. You end up defending yourself when you don't have to. And that's when a narcissist has you on the ropes. When you are defending yourself, when you are begging this narcissist to not see you the way they see you, which, by the way, could be a complete mind game. A narcissist might know that you are an amazing, trustworthy person, that you would never cheat on them, but the mere hint that they think that you might have is enough to make you question who you are. It's enough to tickle your abandonment trauma. It's enough to get you to obsess over whether or not this narcissist wants to stay in your life or wants to keep you around. It's enough to trigger your fear of abandonment and to trigger your fear of being misunderstood. If you're someone who is really upset when people don't understand you, then a narcissist will exploit that in you, and you will stay stuck. You will lack the awareness to recognize that this is a mind game. You will lack the awareness that the narcissist has pulled you into the subconscious layer. You will not be as aware as you could be because you are tangoing with a narcissist in the subconscious mind, in their reality. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with someone who's highly narcissistic or you're dealing with someone who is mildly annoying, somebody who self-sabotages, somebody who is in denial of their alcoholism, somebody who refuses to take responsibility for their life. Many of us have people in our lives that always have a sob story. This is a high narcissistic trait. The sob story, the please feel sorry for me, my life is so hard and everybody else is against me, is the narrative of someone who is highly narcissistic. And we want to be careful when we're trying to work with someone in that realm, especially if you see yourself as a healer, even if you're a life coach, even if you're somebody who is a friend to this type of a person. You want to be careful, because unless that person exhibits some level of self-awareness, they can't shift. They can't come out of the subconscious mind or the basement of the mind. And the reality is we all come here to expand our consciousness. And we should not be the same people at 30 that we were at 20. We should not be the same person at 40 that we were at 30. And we shouldn't be the same person at 50 that we were at 40, and so on. There should be an evolution of consciousness. We should be expanding our thought process. And in the process of expanding our thought process, what we're doing is we're healing. We're moving to different states consciously. We are moving more towards, if you will, a sense of peace, a sense of love. We're letting go of what we can't control. We're maturing emotionally. And I know that some people are opposed to this idea, but emotions are energy. And as we mature emotionally, our energy changes. And that is the purpose. We're not supposed to remain stuck in the basement of the subconscious mind. We're supposed to heal. And so if you're dealing with someone who's highly narcissistic, and you have got caught up thinking, I need to save this person, I need to save this person, be very, very careful of thinking that you are this person's fixer, because you're not going to be able to fix them. And that puts us in a conundrum, because you love someone who you realize has no intention of changing. I went through this myself in my first marriage, when I had the awareness that I had an issue, that I was codependent, that I sought my ex-husband's approval, that I needed to be needed, that I had no identity. And when I started to take accountability for that, and I went back to college, he was very upset. When I decided to take a dance class because that made me happy, I was trying to take responsibility for my own happiness, he was very upset. When I began to read books, self-help books about recovery, he was very upset. And he would begin to punish me because I was beginning to evolve. You can't save that person. That person does not want to hit the elevator button and go to the first floor or the second floor or the third floor. They don't. So what does someone like you need in that situation? You need education. You need life skills. You need support. You need resources. You need a path out. You need a roadmap. You need a blueprint, because what a narcissist will do is pretty predictable. A narcissist is a very frightened person. The last thing that they want to do is stay in the subconscious mind. Think of it as a dark, musty basement with rats scurrying all around. The last thing a narcissist wants to do is to live in the basement of their life by themselves. You see, if you're there and you're reflecting back either fear or admiration, then they get to live in this fantasy world. They're really not in the basement with all their fears. They're in this illusion. And that's why a narcissist will fight to keep you there. And that's why a narcissist will oftentimes throw everything at you, including the kitchen sink, to get you to buckle. In my situation, my ex, believe it or not, said to me, I thought that if I destroyed you and crippled you, you'd come back to me. I mean, he said it out loud. And I thought to myself, holy cow, like, you said that out loud and it is the truth. And how sad is that, that makes sense to you, but it made sense to him. That was his operating system. That was the operating system that was in effect in the subconscious mind, that he believed was appropriate, that he believed he had a right to enforce in our relationship. And when I thought about it from level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, just trying to expand my consciousness and moving more towards emotional intelligence, moving more towards grace, moving more towards love of self and forgiveness of what has been, because you can't change what is. You can only move forward. And so as I began to understand my life and put the pieces of the puzzle back together, I thought, wow, I was his partner for 11 or 12 years while we were married in that basement. And in that basement, I was trying to change him. This was something that I did as a woman. I didn't know I was doing it, but I was trying to change him. I was trying to bring him to the other side. And that is just not possible. And after 12 years of losing my own energy to this relationship, to the point of mental breakdowns, to the point of physical breakdowns, to the point of mental exhaustion, to the point that my mental health was seriously in jeopardy, from panic attacks to anxiety attacks, to developing this swing towards rage and anger and frustration. That was the consequence of living in this experience with him, unaware that I was unaware. And I can tell you, as someone who broke through that, someone who broke free, it wasn't easy. But all these years later, I can tell you that I wouldn't change anything. Well, maybe a few things, but I've gained so much wisdom and I've gained so much personal insight, and I know myself. And that is my journey now. Rather than know him, which was my focus, I need to understand him. I need to understand him. I need to understand him. Now my focus is, no, I need to understand myself. I need to know who I am. I need to know what I'm all about. I need to make myself happy. I need to live life on my terms. What does that mean? Well, if you're coming out of a narcissistic relationship and you're learning to live life on your own terms, then you have to know who you are. You have to know how to set boundaries. You have to know how to stop compromising yourself. And that's a very, very empowering position to live. So we've gone from looking for validation outside to self-empowerment to looking for validation on the inside. And that is the journey of us all. And it's happening on a global scale, where we are at a point where we realize we can generate our own energy. We can take care of the self. We don't need to judge people. We really can focus on ourselves. And there is a huge shift happening in the world where people are more involved with self-empowerment than ever. And I think that's because for so long, we thought that our power was outside of ourselves. Just with women and men, historically, women had to give their power over to men. We didn't even get the right to vote until the 1920s. I mean, that's not that long ago. There are people on planet Earth that are 100 years old. And so it's not that long ago that women only got the right to vote. And we see it in other segments of society where our power was given over to other. And now we're at a point where we're learning to self-generate. We're learning to look within for our power. And that means that we have to leave certain people behind. And that's difficult. But you know what? There's no other way to do this. There is no other way to move forward if you are in a relationship with a narcissist that refuses to change. And by all means, I got great advice from a friend one time, and she said, Lisa, make sure you turn over every stone. And I did. I didn't want to, because when I thought it was done. And I resented having to go back and try therapy, but I did it because I had 3 children and I wanted to be responsible. And I wanted to be completely honest and open with my ex-husband if we were really going to give this a shot. In my case, I feel, again, it's just my opinion, I felt that going into therapy was a ploy. He had no intentions of really working on therapy and working through his issues and being honest. I feel that he was just wasting time, and he thought that if he entertained me and pacified me, that he would run out the timer, if you will, and I would just be exhausted. And it almost happened. But I'm so grateful that I did not give up on the recovery journey. And I hope that this message has inspired you, and I hope that you believe in yourself. I hope that you believe it's possible to learn how to heal yourself, to look within, to process old energies, to learn to get to higher states of consciousness. Imagine this floor analogy or this apartment building analogy where you could live your whole life. You could be 40 or 50 or 60 years old and live in the basement. And I'm here to tell you that you can hit the elevator button and you can get to level 1 and level 2 and level 3 and level 4. And who knows how far you can go when it comes to healing and raising your level of consciousness. The goal is to move closer towards self-love and grace, because that is a state of healing. And when you do that, you're literally a ripple in the universe, and you are helping to heal the world. And thank you doesn't seem enough, but I would like to personally thank anyone out there who is consciously trying to shift and make the world a better, brighter, and lighter place. If this resonates with you, my flagship program, the 12-week Breakthrough Coaching Program, is the perfect online course for you to help you raise your consciousness, to help you heal from the past, and to help you break through the childhood trauma and the patterns that codependent people tend to reenact over and over and over again. Namaste, everybody. Until next time. And remember, dear one, you are enough. Bye for now. Hey, if you love this content, don't forget to check out the next video, and you can go to my website and take the codependency quiz.